Well, Western Cape Premier Winde has announced a number of changes to his cabinet from his last term. Winde made the announcement after being sworn in for a second term in the legislature earlier today. SABC News reporter Mariska Botha caught up with the re-elected Premier.
We are standing in number 4 Dorp Street, where the newly elected or the re-elected Premier of the Western Cape, Winde, has just made his cabinet announcement. We now have a brief opportunity to speak to him before he calls all his new MECs to the provincial parliament to start their work. So, Mr. Winde, congratulations. The 7 promises you made in your election campaign, how are you going to achieve this with your new cabinet?
Well, of course, I'll start off with jobs. It's something that I'm very proud of in our track record. We will ask ourselves the questions, is what we delivered and what we've had in place from a strategy point of view, a policy point of view, is it okay in our first kind of gathering of the new cabinet, or do we need to pump certain sides up? Are there other issues that we need to deal with? But, we will make sure that we've got plans in place to deliver on those 800,000 jobs in the next 5 years. We'll make sure that we look and analyze our current energy plan, and is it enough to kind of take us to the next level, or our safety plan, and what do we need to do with the safety plan to push it to the next level. It is a big ask when it's a national competency, which is policing, but I can't stand back in this province and just say, well, we'll wait for national and policing powers. We will do what is necessary, and as much as we can within the framework of the rule of law and our ambit, we will push those boundaries to make sure we build a safer society. And the same thing happens with our big departments of education and health. Make sure that we're pushing those engines as hard as we can, and then all the while making sure we've got good governance practices and innovation. I really believe in innovation. I believe in even the cabinet. Some people have been put into uncomfortable positions, but I believe in that. You can't just do the same thing. I bring in younger people, because we've got to make sure that we are actually doing more and more. Otherwise, we will be going backwards, and we've got to push on the foundations that we've built. And so really that was the campaign, a promise of more. The voters have said, yes, go ahead. So now we've got our marching orders. Our marching orders is go and do more.
You appointed a young person to the portfolio of finance. Yes. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so Deirdre Bartman, she's been, in the backbenches in our parliament, but really, she's applied her mind to budget. She's worked hard to make budgets more accessible to citizens. She's tried to make, budgets and budgeting and finance cool. And so I'm looking forward to that. Budgets are critical, and finance is critical. But we also need citizens to own their budget. We need budgets to fight harder. She's also a qualified lawyer, so we're going to take the fight to national government. We want our fair share of money. And so, she's been given this opportunity, but that's what I believe in, and I'm pretty certain she's going to make us proud.
Lastly, safety and security, given to Andrew Barre.
Ek veg nog steeds vir polisieering. Oh, sorry. I'm still fighting for policing powers, and we will continue. In the safety plan, we've got a key partnership between the city, between the province, and then, of course, municipalities. That's the LEAP officer space. So, of course, the minister must have oversight over that. But I also believe that we've really got to start working much harder into the other side of fighting crime. That is getting ahead of it. That is violence prevention. How do we get that right? Now, we've set it up last year. We set up the unit. It sits in the Department of Health, but it also sits in all departments. Social development has a major role. So this minister's job is to make sure that we understand how citizens are affected by crime. We understand where we've got to start to change it, and she has to lead that in schools, in the social space where social nets are, making sure that we've got programs in the Department of Health and Wellness, making sure we've got programs that are actually helping young people not get attracted to drugs, not get attracted to crime, getting ahead of that curve, playing a lot more with our universities and understanding criminology, and so that's going to be her task. It's a big task for her, but she's been in government for a long time. She understands it, and she's also a caring person. She carries that value of ours in government, the caring value, and that's what I think victims of crime need. They need to know that we actually care about them, we see them, and We know it's a major problem for us, and we've got to make sure we do whatever we can to make this a safer and safer province.
Last question, will we see a big push from this provincial government for the devolution of power?
Yeah, absolutely. I will keep on doing this. Obviously, we're seeing what's happening now at a national level. That also will maybe change our tack, but there's no doubt. I mean, we've had a powers bill in Parliament. I want to take it back to our cabinet to say, should we not put a government powers bill in place? We really need to have a look. If services are not given to our citizens, we owe it to our citizens to find better ways in getting the services there. So that's what we're going to do. And if it's devolution of power, that's absolutely what's got to be brought in onto the books.
Thank you very much. That was the re-elected Premier of the Western Cape, Alan Winde, speaking to us in brief. He's in quite a hurry. He's going to have a sitting of his provincial cabinet very shortly, and giving us an overview of what the plans are for the next 5 years.